ever see? As soon as he throws that pop, boom. Okay. When I'm throwing the cross, what makes me punch so effective is Now this is super advanced again, guys. This isn't for the beginners. What up? What's going on, guys? Thank you for everybody who is here, everybody who's watching this, whether this is live or not live. Today is going to be an interesting episode. I got Fast Eddie Chambers coming in, and we're going to have a conversation today, and it's going to be just a straight up honest conversation about how can you learn how to box without a trainer. Now, this is a question that I get all the time. People shoot me DMs, I get emails, I get questions on my YouTube videos. This seems to be a common thing. You know, a lot of people, they ask questions like, hey, Coach Anthony, man, there's no trainers in my area. I don't have a coach, or my coach is super busy. He's got a bunch of personal training clients, or, he has a bunch of fighters and I'm not getting no attention. And, this is a lot of situations where trainers aren't able to work with everybody. And trust me, I know. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of people I've turned down over the years. Unfortunately, I can't train everybody either. And the thing is, certain areas here, or certain areas in the world, I would say, are less privileged with boxing teachers than other areas. You know what I mean? You might be in a part of the country where there's absolutely no coaches that are, of any significance. You know what I mean? So trust me, my heart goes out to you guys. I totally understand. And that's what we're going to tackle today. We're going to tackle, can it be done? Should it be done? How can you do it? And those are going to be the main things that we're going to go into. But first, before I do that, I want to say hello to a few of the people who's in here. You know what I'm saying? My man DMC, what's going on, champ? My man Kaz Roder. What up, coach? What's going on, champ? Hello from New Zealand. New Zealand in the house, man. Daryl Brown, man. Blessings to you too, my guy. Blessings to your family too. We got Skylar. Good morning from Dubai. I'm in that boat because I don't have money. I had a trainer and just carry what I learned and keep on my strength and conditioning. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a nice conversation about this, man. We got Fast Eddie Chambers. What's going on, Eddie?
Nah, not too much, man.
Not too much.
Working.
It looks a little blurry on your side. Wipe the screen off a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Hold up. Try to clean it off.
Yeah, there we go. There you go. A little bit clearer now. So today, what I want to talk about is guys who don't have the access to a trainer, at least in their area. This is something that I get DMs about. I can't tell you how many DMs. If I had $1 for every DM I don't got a trainer. I'm looking for a trainer. Coach Anthony, will you train me? I'm in a different part of the world. How do I learn from you? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or they just don't know where to begin. Some guys don't got the money. Some guys don't have the resources. Some guys, there's just no trainers in their area. So,
yeah.
It's a really tough situation. You know what I mean? I hear and I feel for these guys. I feel for these people who want to learn boxing. And it's partially the reason why I made a YouTube channel. It's one of the main reasons I made a YouTube channel was to help as many people as possible, but also to help people who don't have the access to the information that guys like us were fortunate enough to have access to. But first, before we talk about how to do this without a trainer, I want you to go into your history a little bit and talk about what it was like having your father as a trainer, right? Like you were like one of those brats in boxing that kind of had that in-house, spoiled brat in one area where it's listen, where you had that access to that kind of quality information at your
Right.
disposal, where other guys, they got to search all across the world. Now, yes, your dad probably was very hard on you, but at the same time, look how successful you were. Look how much you accomplished when he was in your life, right? So
That's a fact.
yeah, so let's talk about a little bit about what it was like and what were some of the beginning steps and things that you would do, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my story as well.
Well, for me, it was almost out the womb. It felt like, you know what I mean. I was watching boxing at a very young age, um, but my dad always would say, "Oh, I don't want you in it," which was obviously the biggest lie he ever told. But 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 the early stages, I was literally like, I would say 8, 9 years old, and he would have me in the house, and we would be doing like, he showed me the basics, the how to step, how to move, a little, how to throw the jab, how to throw this, how to throw that, throw the left hook. I knew all the punches basically at before 9 years old. I was like, I was already understanding of the basic things. So we would literally be in there, not necessarily sparring, but it was like a controlled drill atmosphere that we had going on.
Hold
But
on,
he'd be
before we get into that, if you were
mhm.
punches at 9 years old, when do you think you were introduced to punches?
to when I was introduced to boxing. Oh shit! I remember I went and was at my first amateur fight show. I didn't even realize that's what it was. I was so young. I was probably like 4, 5 years old, maybe a little younger than that. I don't know. Yeah, I was about 4 years old, I would think, 4 to 5. And I remember watching this guy get knocked out. And I remember seeing this big dude, boy, he seemed big to me then, get knocked out, literally stretched on the ropes. And he fell into the ropes and hit the ground. One of the first memories I had of boxing. And I remember being in the arena with my dad. And it was definitely an amateur fight now that I think about, what was going on. People had headgears on and all that. And I remember being so like enamored when I was a little kid with the mouthpieces. Like my dad gave me a mouthpiece. I'll be there sitting there playing with it, like put it in. And I remember my dad going in and sparring with this young guy. And, my dad was a pretty good amateur at this time. And, when he was young, obviously, not then. And he was getting there with this young dude that was up and coming. And I remember sitting in there, and my dad's girl was there too. And he was taking a beating. I'm gonna be honest with you, my dad he was taking some leather. And
He was sparring?
He was sparring. And see, back in his day, they didn't spar with headgears on. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't wearing the headgear, and the guy's name was Al Williams. And the guy was all over him. Like my dad was probably in his mid 40s at this time. No, not mid 40s. I would say early 40s, maybe 41, 42, something like that, maybe 43. And he was in there trying to spar with this dude, and this dude was teeing off on him. He was really teeing off on him. But I mean, he held his own in a way of able to defend and survive. But trust me, he was getting beat. You know what I mean? So those are some of the earliest things I remember about boxing. But I started getting into it at around 8, 9 years old, learning how to throw the punches, catching punches. I remember my dad had me, like I said, he had me in the house, and we had gloves, I had headgear, I had all this stuff, and I think he was looking for this old brand that none of y'all probably know about. Is It's called Tough Wear, and that was like the best brand back in his day. So he was looking for like Tough Wear this, Tough Wear that, and couldn't find it. So he had to get like Ringside at the time. Ringside was popping, so he went and got all the Ringside stuff. We'd be in the house, and he'd be literally throwing like I mean, when I got to a point where I was good enough to deal with it and understand how to catch punches and stuff. I mean, remember, I'm still only 8 years old. I'm a little guy, you know what I mean? I ain't that little, but 8, 9 years old, he's throwing left hooks that were like kind of hard. And I remember I had 14-ounce gloves on, and he had 14s on. And I remember catching them shots. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker, like, what's he doing? You know what I mean? Like, he's throwing his shots kind of hard. But I mean, the expectations then was to, for me to fight. You know what I mean? Like I was 9. I was just turning 9. And I didn't really think of it. I mean, I like the idea of being involved in it or whatever. I'm a kid. I'm too stupid to realize what's going on and how serious things are at this point. But I kind of wanted to do it at that time. But obviously, time goes on. I never end up getting those fights. I think the gym we were at the time, the gym we were going to had closed down. So I kind of like got out of it. My dad wasn't really training anybody. We were struggling trying to find for him to try to find work, and he didn't want to work for anybody. So he was doing like these odd jobs, these odd little things he would do that was, basically looking for self-employment. But wasn't no internet back then, so it ain't like now where you know what I'm saying. You can just do a couple things, throw some, post some stuff, maybe even be an internet, like do what you doing online.
Well, but that actually gives me to a good point though. So
Mm-hmm.
things are different. Like
Way different.
when you were coming up, there was no internet. When I was coming up, there was no internet, right? We were
Facts.
taking pictures. We weren't recording our sparring with cell phones. We weren't taking pictures.
Facts.
All those things weren't really happening, right? Like you don't even know where you probably can't even find your amateur fights now.
Bruh, like if I could,
You on the
we had
people could find videos of them sparring and stuff. You don't have any of that, none of those memories, and you've had plenty of fights.
I honestly, I don't know where they are. I'm gonna be honest, or no, I might have an idea where they are. They might be in here somewhere. Of like literally video. We talking about VHS. We ain't talking about DVD, bro. We talk about video of like sparring I had with like Hassan Rahman and who else? Monty Barrett, different dudes like that. I don't think I got any John Ruiz, but I got some other named guys I was in there sparring with, and we recorded a lot of it. I just can't remember. There was guys also around the city of Philly that we was recording, but a lot of places wouldn't allow that recording because they didn't want, word getting out and they didn't want video, or, you know what I mean? Like if they wasn't getting the better of the work, or they just didn't want video out, period, of what they were doing. So,
Right.
but yeah, man, it's not a lot available because, like I said, it ain't. We didn't have the internet like that back then. You know what I mean? It's crazy even now. Like if you look at some of my early fights, like there's something online of me now, and you could tell it was VHS because of how, the quality of the picture. I was fighting this guy. His name was Dean Story. He ended up fighting MMA, I think, too, later on. But I fought him, and we got the video of that was at the Blue Horizon. This is in like '04, I mean '05 or something like that, '04, '05. And we talk. That's some years ago now, and you could tell it was still being taped. You know what I mean? Not even DVD, videos. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a long, crazy situation with us, and it's hard to find footage of the younger version. Like I'm talking about like the early version, like when I first turned pro and stuff like that, and even some of the stuff I had when I was still amateur. Man, even there was some stuff did in Philly, some sparring I did in Philly. Like when I was 18, and I had just got good enough to where I could really deal with guys on a high level, and the video was good. I wish we could find it, but the video was awesome. I was sparring with guys like might not know these names, them, but Gerald Nobles, Frank Walker, even Charlie Brewer. I was sparring all them dudes back in the day, and they was like fighting. Some of them, like Charlie Brewer, was getting ready to fight Joe Calzaghe for a title, and invited me to come to his camp to spar with him southpaw. And
it's crazy because Charles Brewer would be in my gym every single day, and 90% of the members wouldn't even know that he fought for a world title. You know what I'm saying? Like didn't even know he was a world champion. You know what I mean? Like
that's a fact. And he was a killer too. He tried to take your head off.
I know he was literally in my gym every single day. It makes me laugh. But yeah. So when you were coming up, you had your father. So your situation, you really can't relate to the guy who didn't have a trainer. That
is 100% factual. There's nothing that they're gonna get from hearing me besides like, damn, I wish I had that to a degree. But they will have the ability to say, well, I have a desire to do this. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like you, and like you didn't have that coming up. So for you, it was like you did it out of strictly desire and love for the game. Me, I did it because I had to do it, and because I had somebody pushing me. And there's other things that I really wanted to do. Like, for example, I wanted to play ball. I wanted to play basketball. I asked my dad, could I try out for the ninth grade squad? No, you boxing, nigga. That was it. You know what I mean? He wasn't even giving me an opportunity to say whether I was going to try one thing or the other. He didn't even say go ahead and try. You know what I mean? And see what happens. because he knew, because the love I had for the sport, he could tell that he would have lost the opportunity for me to box. And I think I can't say he was wrong, because he saw a better future for me in boxing, and a future he could mold for me, and he could make sure he was involved in. See, that's the thing. He was such a big part of my life, even outside of boxing, that he wanted to be able to mold it for me, so he can make sure that I stayed involved in it from the beginning to end. And with basketball, he didn't have basketball knowledge. He wasn't a basketball guy like that. He played a little bit, but he didn't have enough knowledge to where he could really be involved in it. He allowed me to play football when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old a little bit, but he didn't really. He had us running, he had us doing things, but he couldn't really affect change in how we really played the sport from a skill standpoint. So he didn't really want me in those sports, and he knew with basketball, he could tell because I played it every day I could. He knew that I had a love for that sport once I got into it, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna make sure that I keep him away from that shit, so that he can actually become as high level fighter as he can get to, and take us out of this poverty stricken situation that we're in." And that's exactly what ended up happening.
Right, right. Yeah. So my whole point of that was um, the fact that you always had a trainer in your life pushing you,
Mm-hmm.
helping you is the main thing to your success. And I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say that for most people, that is going to be the honest truth, right? You need somebody who's gonna guide you in this sport, right? Somebody who's gonna show you the ropes, somebody who's gonna protect you, somebody who's gonna correct you, somebody who are,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's gonna make sure that you're doing these things. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have access to that. Point being why we decided to make courses, why
Mm-hmm.
we have the YouTube channel, why we do so many things to try to help so many people, because it's like, for one, not only do a lot of people don't have the access to a trainer, a lot of people don't have the access to the quality information. Like, you've been around the world with boxing, Eddie. You fought,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the highest level. You've beaten some of the best guys. You've also trained in the gyms of Philadelphia, and you've also sparred all over the world. And so you've seen boxing from every perspective that a fighter can see it. You know,
Right.
and from a teaching standpoint, the difference between a person who just teaches boxing and a person who's teaching quality boxing.
Facts.
Uh, Touch on that a little bit, because we see it all the time, and a lot of times when you and I have these conversations in private, where we
Mm-hmm.
see even some of these name guys teaching stuff, and we're like, that there's no way that's going to be effective, right? A lot of it is for the glitz and glamour of just getting people talking and getting people to say, "Ooh, what was that? That was a cool move," but there's really
Mm-hmm.
no depth to the move. There's no depth
Right.
to the situational stuff. And you being a person who actually fought before, tell me what your thoughts on a teacher versus a quality teacher.
Well, teacher, if you can
Well,
consider yourself, if
let's just say a quality boxing versus just a regular guy teaching the 1-2s and the 3s and the uppercuts. That, you know what I mean?
well, you know how we talk. You know how we qualify teachers. Teachers are the real trainers. These are the real dudes that really know the game. You know what I mean? Like you, Bash here. When Emmanuel was here. There's several guys out there now. There's a few guys. There's guys out there that actually teach. You know what I mean? We talk about Billy Briscoe. You know what I mean? Just got information on top of information. These guys actually know the game. Now, just like I said, there's guys who are marquee names that know the game, who've been, high level trainers that can
Right.
actually teach.
Now let's just go. Let's rewind that, because
Mm-hmm.
I talk to Billy Briscoe all the time about lineage, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
talks about his lineage, and from his teacher, and all the people that he's learned, and it traces back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just named Billy Briscoe, somebody who we have conversations in private and sometimes in public, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times in private, about really in-depth boxing stuff, that a lot of the stuff that we teach in our courses, a lot of stuff that we teach on YouTube, but at the same time, we have these conversations in private, right?
Yeah.
And that's Billy Briscoe. His lineage is very, very deep, right? And then
Right.
we go ahead and we talk about Bashir, who's your boxing coach, right? That you
Yeah.
as a coach
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. That
Mm-hmm.
and his lineage is connected to Emmanuel Stewart, right? He was
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel Stewart's right hand man, right? He's
Yes, sir.
name some of the guys who Bashir's trained over the years.
Oh man. See, Bashir, you know what's crazy about him? He's trained guys like, okay, y'all won't know who this is. Maurice Harris. You know who that is. He's one of the best guys that never became a champion or even a high level guy. He got to a high level kind of area. He fought Chris Bird, ended up losing to Chris Bird. I think for the title, or at least for a spot at a opportunity to fight for the title. But he was one of the best fighters to lace him up in the heavyweight division that nobody knows. This dude was whooping, and I don't want to say this too loud because they probably get mad when they hear it, but he was giving Mike Tyson work. He was giving Lennox Lewis the blues in the gym. Man, he was giving guys who even not too long ago, recently, some of these recent guys that are out here, smacking them around, giving them work like crazy. And we talk about a dude that's probably mid-40s and out of shape. He was just one of those special guys, and Bashir was the one who molded him. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's also he was
Yeah, name some other people. Keep.
he was also Alexander Usyk's trainer.
Yeah,
coming up.
He was Usyk's
You know what I'm
trainer
saying?
for quite a while.
For a bit, that was his guy. That was the first guy that he was working with as a professional. I remember him trying to get. He wanted me to come out and work with him a little bit and help him out, and I was willing to do it. It was just things happened, and then he ended up stopping training him. He also worked with a guy that I probably don't remember him. His name's Andre Perlet. He always raved about how good Bashir was. Andre Perlet was a knockout artist, but his chin, I think, was the issue. And as he got further in the game,
he worked with when he worked with Emmanuel Stewart, who was he helping him with?
Oh, he was helping him with everybody. All the guys that Emmanuel had. There was even times that he worked Vladimir's corner in fights because Emmanuel couldn't make it. You know what I mean? Bashir worked. It's crazy because Bashir would be worked with. He would send Bashir to some of his fighters, even some of his marquee fighters, if he knew he had HBO prior engagements where he couldn't actually be at the fight. You understand what I'm saying? So he'd be like, "Yo, Bash, man, I need you to go out there and go work with this guy." And most of the guys were fine. Almost all of the guys were fine with it because they knew that his knowledge was on par. He knew everything he needed to know. He would be. The crazy part is, if he would bring some of those guys and have them sparring together, Bashir was working against Emmanuel in the gym. If you understand what I'm saying, as the trainer in the other corner. So it's like it was always on par. He was always right there. In fact, the real trainer, the first guy that they were interviewing to be Emmanuel's successor for Vladimir was Bashir. But, something happened and I guess they couldn't agree on terms or whatever. And, and even recently he was going to go over there and he was having conversations with Anthony Joshua to work with him.
So, so that just goes to show. I was just making a point of just a small niche circle. That's only a few of the people who we deal with on a regular basis. But what I'm saying is that's the lineage of the boxing information that we try to live up to. That what would be the right word when you're trying to live up to something? You want to
oh man, I think that's actually the word. That's a good enough word for me.
It's like that's the standard. That's the
standard.
A high quality standard. When I teach on YouTube, I envision these guys are watching my videos. I envision that when we put a course together, that these guys may get a hold of it one day and they're judging it, saying, "Can this kid teach or can he not teach?" You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the way that I like to approach it. It's almost like I got a set of eyes watching me, scoring me, and that's how I try to make sure that we put out the best quality information.
You know what I like about what we do, to be honest? We don't add fluff that just doesn't have any real depth in training. The one thing I like about us is that we should talk legitimately about whether or not these things will actually work in a fight situation. See, a lot of people, I feel like after a while, when things seem to be a little dry, you can't think of something to come up with then you start trying to go outside of the realm of what you really know. Like, all right, let me try to do this crazy move that'll just get views. I don't really think we do a lot of that. We don't do any of that, to
Do
be
any of
honest.
that.
Yeah. We're focused more on things that'll actually work and actually take place in the ring. I see, the thing is, not a lot of people can teach who've done it. Not a whole bunch of guys. Don't get me wrong. Some people, a lot of people can, but a lot of people can't. You know what I'm saying? And from my standpoint, I always use things that I've utilized, but then I look at it from, can everyone do this? Because just because I can do it doesn't mean everybody else is going to be able to do it. You understand what I'm saying? It takes a certain amount of time to master certain things. So not everybody is going to have the patience or the ability or the physical athleticism to be able to do everything that maybe I have done.
Well,
So
that's what Billy Briscoe likes to say to me when we have conversations all the time. He'll say stuff like, "Every fighter develops his own bag of tricks."
right,
You
that's
have
a fact.
you have your own bag of tricks that are the
Right.
Eddie Chambers bag of tricks, and that's why, like for instance, right? So obviously we got 15 courses. Actually, we got 16 courses, and I'm gonna drop the new one that we haven't released yet
Okay.
in a minute. But also within those courses, now I'm doing something new called Coach Anthony 2.0, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
2.0 is what I was showing you yesterday in private, where I was showing you how I'm working with, a group of people individually, helping them with their heavy bag work, sending them, docs, letting them know exactly what needs to be worked on, creating custom courses, literally created a custom course, where you was demonstrating some of the stuff I was asking you to demonstrate for the female fighter who I have on the 2.0. So now she has her own individualized things that she needs to work on, as opposed to just a general, because a lot of stuff is general, but then it becomes very athlete specific. Basically, what you're saying when you talk about how there's things you could do that other people can't do. That goes for all of us.
Right.
And then there's universal things that everybody could do. You know what I mean? Which
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
tools and things like of that nature. But for the most part, every fighter is going to develop their own rhythm, their own style, their own way of setting up punches, their own favorite punches that they like to throw, defensive techniques that they revert back to when things get intense. So these are just things like, for instance, Floyd Mayweather is very comfortable in a shoulder board, where you were very comfortable with your hands up like this. And even though your hands were up like this, I noticed that you didn't just stay in the middle. You used to still rock back. You used to still slip. You used to still do things that were very crafty, even with both hands locked by the top of the head, which is difficult to do, because most guys need those hands relaxed to relax the upper body. You're able to do it locked up with your hands up, which is unique. There's not too many guys who do it like that, that I can think of offhand. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So my point to bring all of that up is, learning how to box on your own is a very difficult thing. And and the title of this video was how to learn how to become a boxer with no trainer. Now, yes, you can go through YouTube and you can look up a bunch of boxing videos, and yes, you can go on YouTube and whatever. But what ends up happening, and I found this to be true in business, because I'm a person who, I'll go to YouTube University to try to learn stuff from business.
Of course.
You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. That's the first thing, right? When you're just learning the game, it's very difficult to differentiate. I mean, some stuff is obvious, but then some stuff is like, I'm not sure. Sometimes you got trainers that make these complex videos on YouTube nowadays, and people think that that's a good thing. And sometimes those complex videos, you're like, guys like us will look at that and know it's not good. Whereas a beginner, I'll read the comments, and some of these guys are like, that's the best video I've ever seen. And in my mind, I'm like, this poor kid has no idea that what he's learning right now is going to get him knocked out. But I can't save him if I can't get a grasp of him. You see what I'm saying?
And that's the one thing about watching a lot of YouTube stuff, man. And you see people who don't even belong talking to nobody about boxing, let alone showing thousands of people how to box. It's just so hard to differentiate, because if you don't know anything and you look at somebody who may know a little more than you, You may think they're a trainer. Like you think about people going in the gym lifting weights. Just because one guy over there knows a little bit more than you doesn't mean he's an expert, nor does it mean that he knows even what he's doing. You know what I mean? So it's hard, man. It's really difficult. And I understand. And I understand how you feel because I see like, and you are doing this YouTube thing as well as training people in person. So you got a bird's eye view of all of what's going on. So when I start to see some of these guys and I start saying, man, this is crazy. Like, why are these guys even, why are people listening to them, but they don't know? It's like me with basketball. It's like, yo, I'll go on there and I'll look at all these. One thing about me is I am a professional athlete. So I do understand certain qualities, right? So I look at different things about the guy who's teaching. You know, his not just his following, because sometimes that's fool's gold too. Because those followings are like, okay, you got a lot of people listening to him, but they're just ignorant. They don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Then I'll look and then I'll talk to my people that are in basketball that play ball that know true trainers, know the true skill guys. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll look to those guys and then ask some questions about what they think and blah blah blah. But that's because I have a certain knowledge of another business. Not everybody has that. And when people want to get into the fight business, the hurt business, sometimes they don't understand that they're getting in with people that are so far from it. They don't have any idea about really what they're talking about, but just because they know a little bit more than their audience, you know what I'm saying? They're putting out that poison to these people, and it's unfortunate that they got to listen to it. But you know what I mean? We got to save them. We got to save them, man. We got to save them.
A lot of people sneaking through the back door, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. People sneaking through the back door, and, you know, the success of one fighter may get them another fighter. And now, you know, it's just so many things that go into it. I'm not here to badmouth no other trainers. That's not what we came here to do.
We ain't say no names. It's just the fact that they're out there.
Say no names. All I'm gonna try to tell people is when you try to go down that YouTube rabbit hole, well, like I said before, what that does is it can leave you confused. It can really set you up for disaster. And this is the reason why we've structured what we do now online the way we do now. So for instance, let's talk about the courses that I have. All right. I just want to break it down from a boxing standpoint, right? And how I got it listed, Eddie. We got from the ground up 1.0, right? It's the fundamentals, basics, like, you know, the line, the basic jab, the cross, the technique, you know, just everything that you learn in the gym when you first come to a gym if you had absolutely zero experience. Build you from the ground. 2.0 is a continuation of that. The beginner footwork drills, which teaches guys lateral movement, how to do different things, balance, all those things. Defensive principles 101, which you feature in, which I literally have a girl right now in my 2.0 program, which I'll talk to you in a minute. Right now, she's studying defensive principles 101, and I'm not going to put her information out here without her permission, but she literally has been raving about this course. Now we've put this course out 2 years. She said, ever since I've been watching this course, I understand defense now. Like, and it just amazes me because it's just like, she's been boxing. She was boxing for a while before she decided to sign up for 2.0. She really been boxing for a little bit, and she didn't know none of this stuff, Eddie. Like, she even had 2 amateur fights. So
still didn't know it.
And didn't know it to the degree that she's understanding it now. How do you go into a fight not knowing these basic defensive principles? So it just shows you, it's the reason why we call it defensive principles. You know what I mean? Of course, we got how to fight on the inside. I mean, obviously, I got the Raymond Savage Ford hoodie on right now. And tomorrow, guys, if you guys don't know, and I'm going to need everybody to go to the link description when this is done, whether you're watching this live after, and sign up to the newsletter because I'm going to actually be giving out the game plan that we put together for this fight. I mean, the fight already happened, so it doesn't matter if they get the game now, right? You know what I'm saying? And what made us make the decisions that we've made. And, you know, a lot of people don't believe in game planning, but when you game plan properly with flexibility to make adjustments on the fly, that's how you're successful with a game plan. So fighting on the inside was one of the main things that we talked about because we knew that we were fighting an opponent that didn't do well fighting and he didn't do well going backwards. So we were looking at stuff like that. And obviously we got the knockout, right? So anyway, man, going through the courses that we've made, Eddie, and you're in like 90% of the courses.
Mm-hmm.
Every course was made systematically. So when
Mm-hmm.
people go through it, they can go to the next course and continue to learn. Go to the next course, and of course, everything works intertwined. Remember when we were talking about yesterday, like, learning defense and offense on the first day, like, and
Yeah.
things that you could do, or whether it's the first day, maybe let's just say the first week, maybe the first day could be excessive, but maybe not, depending on the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the systems of how to go step by step. So, before we get into that, let's go back to having a no trainer in your area, and what is the solution to that? You know what I mean? First and foremost, if let's talk about let's talk about the one main reason a lot of people don't have trainers on. Let's talk about it. It's money, right? So a lot of people say, well, I can't afford a trainer. I can't
Mm-hmm.
afford the box. I can't afford to do that. That can be a problem. Let's be honest. Like, when I was young, when I was like 8, 9 years old, I wanted to go to karate school, and my parents didn't put me in it. Like,
Yeah.
this is what it was, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A lot of
Didn't have it.
things that I wanted that I didn't have, and I just didn't do it because I couldn't afford it. So money can be an issue, but you also can do other things, like maybe find a rec center or a PAL in your area. You know what I mean? When I was boxing as an amateur, I actually signed up to a PAL, and it was free. It was a free program. Now, unfortunately, some of these free programs, you don't get the quality trainers that you may get if you're working with like some professionals in a professional gym with professional fighters, but it's something, right? It's something better than nothing. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that, Eddie?
No, 100%. 100%. And the thing is, too, even if you don't have a great trainer or a great tactical guy, there are things that you can learn while watching. And that's one thing that, my dad was one of the best, I'll say there is, when it comes to tactics and not necessarily game planning in the fight, but as far as technical stuff, like where to put your hands, how to throw punches, one of the best I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I just hope to be able to replicate that at some point in my training career as I go on. But he was one of the great. He was one of the best ever. I mean, I watched him take guys who didn't know nothing and had them looking like they were pro fighters. Like, at least through how they threw punches. So there is that. But not everybody's like that. And even though he was that good, he still stressed being able to watch and see what guys do and things that you like about guys. Like if you got some more experienced guys in your gym, even if it's a pal or anywhere like that, you're going to see some guys who are a little more experienced, a little better skilled than you are, or a lot better skilled than you are because they know more, they're more experienced. Watch them, see the things that they do that you like. Try to replicate it, but you have to actually watch the details. You have to really be smart about the details. You know what I mean? You can even look online at some of the best pro fighters or some of the things they do in fight. You can start kind of, if you're able to do it. Not everybody's able to do it. But if you're able to like go down to the finer details of how they made the move, you understand what I'm saying? Looking at what they do, the little small incremental things that they've done over a process of movements to get to a certain spot or how to throw a certain shot. I mean, it's you have to watch too. And I mean, I'm talking about like I got to the point where, because I was a big Mosley fan, I would watch what he did in training, like some of the stuff that they would show on like behind whatever they call it, like Real Sports or whatever at the time. And they would be doing like stuff on Shane Mosley, on Floyd Mayweather, on Oscar De La Hoya, different guys like that back in the day. I would be watching their training habits, like what they do in training, trying to see like what drills they would do.
Hold on. Let me touch on that. Because again, you're doing this in a time with minimal internet, right? Or
Exactly.
You're trying to figure it out. And you had a trainer.
That's a fact.
He was one of the best tactical trainers. You just said out of your own mouth, your father, in your opinion, was one of the best tactical guys as far as teaching the fundamentals, the skills, etc.
Right.
Go ahead.
But no, but I was just saying, but I wanted to still be my own guy. I was still a fan of other fighters. So I still wanted to do some of the things they were doing. What things worked for me. You know what I mean?
Right. So you, with having that extra person in your life with the IQ now to go
Mm-hmm.
study other guys got you to that next level where you were able to mimic maybe and steal a few things, right? Now,
Facts.
look, fast forward to 2022. These
Right.
guys have guys like you and I. Not only I chose you because obviously we're very good friends, but I also
Good.
chose you because of your, great boxing pedigree to be the person who stars in a lot of the courses, right? So people could see how it looks, see how it's done. And we explain and we show you step by step how to make the moves. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, 100%.
There's like literally no excuse anymore when you
Not one.
somebody who's breaking down the steps. If you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to watch and invest into yourself, and when I say invest into yourself, I mean a number of ways to invest in yourself. Invest with time, invest with discipline, commitment, and of course, you got to invest financially. That's just what life is, right? Anything
Yeah,
we want, we got to pay for it, right? That's just what life
that's a
is.
fact.
You're paying for it through discipline, paying for it through financials. At the end of the day, if you want something, you got to sacrifice something in your life, right? So you have to be willing to be all in on this, right? And put in the time and just listen to the student and trust who you're learning from. That's another issue. Nothing frustrates me more than if, somebody comes to me for some knowledge and then they go to the next guy the next day for the knowledge that I just gave them. And then they come back to me and say, hey, well, so-and-so said, I'm like, I already gave you the answer. You didn't trust it. Now you went over there, you're getting confused. Now you don't know what to do. Now you're coming back to me hoping that we can refix the situation when you already had the information in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you have to trust who you're getting the information from. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get better and expand your mind. I get that. But when you don't know how to do something and you finally find a source that you trust, listen to that source. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
It's like right now, if you Shane Mosley's training techniques before your dad taught you the fundamentals, imagine you would look crazy, right? It wouldn't have worked.
Right,
But
very.
that gave you some solid fundamentals, made it where now you could bend and break the rules. You can't bend and break the rules when you don't have the foundation right.
Not at all. You gotta know the basics first, because there were things that Shane did in the ring that aren't advisable for other people. He didn't fight in a way that is gonna work for everybody. He was athletic, he had power, he was really fast, he could break rules that maybe should be in place for other fighters that weren't as athletic or as fast or as powerful as he was. You know what I mean? But maybe they're more skilled. You understand what I'm saying? There's certain rules that you have to have because you're not him. And that's why you need that foundation fundamentally first before you start to look at these other guys and what they're doing. Because if you get into a fight and you try to do some of these things that you're seeing these other guys do, but have no understanding of what it is they're doing and how they're able to do it, you're going to run into something that you don't want to run into. You're going to get caught. You're going to get cracked. You're going to get embarrassed. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of different things that can happen, and you don't want that. You don't want in those situations for experience to teach you that. You want somebody who sees you, if there is somebody that you have, sees you making that mistake and correct it before it. It could be you that sees it. You know what I'm saying? It could be you.
It's the reason why professional fighters have trainers.
That's a fact.
Like if you didn't need a trainer, then why would a professional fighter pay a guy to train them, right? They simply would just train themselves,
save some money.
Hire a water boy. Hey man, give me some water. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll go back out there and do what I got to do. Right? No, you got to hire teachers. People come to the corner. You get information, and if you got the chemistry with your trainer that you're supposed to, you're gonna trust your trainer's opinion. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna execute, and hopefully, if everything works as planned, you get the victory. You know what I'm saying? And that's how boxing works as a whole. So you need a trainer. The whole point of this is to let people know you may not need a trainer in the physical form. But you definitely need a trainer to teach you and give you the lessons that you need to get better in this game. Now, I would not advise a person to try to fight without a physical trainer present. My personal opinion. So even though I'm constantly promoting courses, I got the Coach Anthony 2.0 where I'm working with people on a personal level, Eddie.
Right.
I would still tell those people who are paying me for this, listen, unless I see you in person, I'm not going to advise for you to compete. The
No
moment
doubt.
you're ready to compete, you're going to need to find a physical trainer. Now, I can help you 2x, 3x, 4x your results if you listen to me. But if you're going to fight, you need to spar 2 to 3 times a week. If I'm not there, how are we going to do that? Right? We need to correct certain things daily. Sometimes you physically got to grab a guy and physically put his
Mhm.
in the right position. Right? I see guys with their elbows out like this. I'll grab them and fix their elbows. Now they're like this. A guy's not turning. I'll be like, oh man, you got it. So sometimes it takes for a trainer to have to put their hands on the person physically to adjust them so they can understand the right body mechanics, the right body positioning, the balance. So there's a level where now you need to go to that next level. But if you have that and an extra set of eyes, like maybe somebody like me or somebody like us, Eddie,
Mhm.
advising you as well,
Oh yeah.
sky's the limit. Because I'll give you an example, Eddie. I already been in the game for many years, and conversations that I have with certain people, like Billy and some of these other top people in boxing, I can't give out all my secret resources, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
has helped me become a better teacher over the years. And I'm just having phone conversations with these guys. I'm not even having Zooms. I'm not even
Mhm.
seeing it because I got already enough knowledge of
Eh.
the and when they tell me, hey man, I want you to slip rip a hook to the body, and I want you to cut over to the angle, rip an uppercut to the other side. So, like I understand, I see it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I want you to slip a right hand, rip a hook to the body. Then when they throw the hook, I want you to roll under. Then from right there, come back with a right hand and double your jab. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can see that
Mhm.
because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I've done that before. I get it.
You can visualize it. Yeah. 100%.
Visualize it easily. You know what I'm saying? Or throw the
Yeah.
jab to his hand, throw the jab to his hand, and then feint him, and then bring the hook around the side, bring the right
Mhm.
hand after that. We can see it immediately. We don't got to think it through. We don't got to be like, what does he mean? Because
Right.
so now when a person gives you those extra tips, now it's like, oh well, all right, that makes perfect sense. I'll try that in the gym tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if you have a trainer and maybe you feel like you're not getting enough attention, you can benefit probably just as good or if not more than a person who has zero experience, because the person with zero experience is going to be timid, where a person with some experience is going to be like, I get it, I know exactly what you're
Right.
about. Yup, I'm gonna get on that tomorrow. Thanks for that. Thanks for the plan. What do you think? Do you agree with that or no?
No, I agree with it. I agree 100% with it. I mean, obviously sometimes it would be nice to have a completely blank canvas because you don't want the what are
You
we
don't want
talking?
the
What,
confusion. You don't want the confusion.
right. You don't want the bad habits to set in and all that. But at the end of the day, sometimes and I've seen this today, like when I was working with Jose today. You know what I mean? I was sometimes the blank canvas is a little bit difficult. You know what I mean? Because you got to make them understand. You got to turn their body. Things you was talking about. But sometimes when you got somebody who's already got a little information, it's a little easier for you to explain it to them. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be as hands on. You can kind of allow them to be who they are, but just add things to their game. At the end of the day, that's really what an optimal situation is for a trainer or a teacher, is to be able to add to what the other fighter has. Like they already got a solid foundation. Now you just need to add to it. I think that's ideal for a good teacher.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Not you don't always have to build somebody from the ground up to be beneficial as a teacher. You could
Oh,
definitely,
of course.
yeah, you could definitely come into the game and just add maybe the one or two missing pieces to the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times that could be what gets you over the hump. You've seen a lot of
Yep.
guys. You ever seen that one post on Instagram where it's a wall, right?
Hmm.
Guy's digging, looking for gold, and he's hitting the wall, and he quits. And he only had to hit the wall maybe one or two more times, and the gold was there. But he quit right before because
Yep.
because he was just like it was getting too difficult, right? So he didn't know
Hmm.
you were right there. Sometimes a fighter's the same way, where they got so many good things going on, but they just need that coach that sees that one thing to come in and if, let's just say you were fighting for a world title, right? Let's say you fought for a world title. Oh, you did fight for a world title. Look at that. Look at that, guys. He did fight for a world title. All right, so let's just say you're rematching the same guy you lost to, right? We'll use your situation, Vladimir Klitschko, right? You get a chance to rematch him, and you bring in Coach Anthony, right? I didn't know you at the time. Right. I just gave you one thing. You had everything else. You were fucking doing your thing, but I just gave you that one idea, that one method, and it worked, and it got you.
Got me over the top.
Would I be worth the money that you paid for that situation?
What do you think? Of course.
But I only gave you, hold on, but I only gave you one little piece of information.
It don't matter.
Everything put together already.
Yeah, it don't matter. But that's how expensive that one piece could be. Exactly. That one piece could be a blue diamond. You know what I'm saying? That you need to make your shit work. So it's just how that's just how it goes. You can't put a price necessarily on something that is going to get me to the mountaintop. There's no price. I mean, it's like, it's priceless. You know what I mean? I had to pay whatever I had to pay to get that motherfucker on that team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always say this too. And Peter's one of the guys I didn't mention, Peter Fury.
Big shout out to Peter Fury.
If I had the way he had me, and I'm not just saying just skill wise, because I had the skill thing already, but some of the tactics that he put in play. But not only that, the knowledge base around the strength, the knowledge base around the diet, the fact that we trained like savages, that I couldn't get over some of the pain it took me 2 months to get over the pain that I was dealing with when I was over there. But when I got into my own session, there was no one, I think, on the planet for a period of 4 months that I wouldn't have just completely took apart. I really feel that way. If I could have had that man when I fought Vladimir Klitschko, who knows where I would be right now?
Right.
Who knows where I would be right now? I might have took his ass out of there, even when he had Emmanuel. That's how confident I am in what I was when we were together. But that's not to say that his knowledge is any more than yours. That's not to say that his knowledge is any more than Bashir's. You know what I mean? You guys all have a great deal of knowledge. It's just the timing and the opportunity. Damn, if I would have had that guy at this point. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes, you know what I mean? One guy doesn't give you everything. He gives you the good stuff, but maybe it's just like we talked about, one little thing, or maybe you just need something from a bird's eye view. Sometimes when you're in the mix so much, you don't see things because, like, for instance, we could talk about, we could translate this to business, right? Like, I might look at a guy. Oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna take this to coaching, because obviously I've been coaching for the last decade plus. So as a coach, I can look at a kid, or I can look at a person and know their potential before they do.
Oh, yeah.
And I can also see a quality guy who's actually already good and know he's reached his limit. And actually, I've made decisions to choose the guy in the past that wasn't, quote unquote, the better fighter, and it turned him into a better fighter over time, because I saw certain qualities in that person that, yes, he don't have it today, but he'll have it in a year, where you have already maxed out due to either ego, or maybe it's physical, or maybe it's mental, or maybe it's, you know what I'm saying? You've already maxed out. But today you'll whoop his ass, but you won't whoop his ass in a year. Let me work with that. You see what I'm saying? So
that is me. That has been me in the past. Guys kicking my ass. They were older. They were seasoned. They were ready. They were on the top of their game. I was just getting started. So I outlasted them by a mile, and that's just what happens. So you spitting bars. That's really, it's the facts, man. That's what it is.
Real estate, right? Like, somebody drives by the really pretty house with the picket fence and stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that house is $1 million." Then you drive right past the other house that was right next to it, that was a little beat up, but it cost $250,000. Not realizing that if you just fixed up that little ugly house, cleaned it up, maybe put a new roof on it or something like that. You might spend a little bit, and then that house is going to be worth the same or more than the house next to it, and you got it for a much cheaper price because you know what I'm saying? You have the eye for real estate, right? Those real they can literally drive through a neighborhood and say, all right, I'm going to get that house. And somebody might say, you're going to get that house. That house is destroyed. You don't see what I see. The opportunity. You're only looking at the product. I'm looking at what I could turn that thing into. You see what I'm saying? When I started working with Raymond Ford, right? Raymond Ford just came off of 2 shaky performances. 2, not 1. 2. People were saying this kid is overrated. People were saying this kid is you know, he's not gonna go nowhere. He's gonna lose his next fight. Matter of fact, they thought he lost. I came into the play, right? And I'm not trying to take credit for anything, but I saw something in that kid. And I talked to his, you know, his trainer Reggie, Reggie is his trainer who's been with him since he turned professional. He called me and asked me to help because he knew that I can help, you know, in certain areas. And I said, listen, there's a number of things that we need to fix on this kid. He was open-minded to it. He said, let's go to work, and I trust you. His last performances have been fantastic. Now, Eddie Hearns just posted today, I see this kid becoming a world champion in the next 12 months. Now, if I rewind to just 2 fights ago, Eddie Hearns had a face like he was gonna drop.
Yep, I was about to say that. Yeah.
So it's like in just 2 fights. Now I'm not saying I'm just some magician, but my thing is I saw value in that kid. I saw that kid is a monster, and I told Reg that. I said, Reg, this kid's a world champion, bro. Don't let nobody fucking fool you. We just need to work on certain things with him, and that's it. Now we're starting to see success. So that goes back to your career where people might have overlooked you early. And then next thing you know, you're whooping those kids' ass. You know what I'm saying? Not men, pause. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't overlook quality. You have to know when you see quality. So that goes for the people who want to learn this game too. You got to know quality when you see it, man. Like if you don't know the quality, if you don't know quality when you see it, man, you're going to lose every single time. You're going to lose opportunities. You're going to lose out on lessons. You're going to lose out on fighters. If you're a trainer, you're going to lose out on so many different things.
Fact is, man, a lot of people look at things emotionally and they there's certain things they like. There's certain things that they, you know, they have an emotional attachment to when they look at things. And that boxing is no different. As a sport, it's like, you know, like I was a big Mosley fan. You know what I'm saying? I had an emotional attachment to what I saw in him and what he was able to do and how he made me feel as a fighter. I wanted to be like that. I wanted to do stuff. Him, Roy Jones, and guys like that. I was like, man, I wanted to be like them. Not looking at guys like Floyd Mayweather, who was tactically the best that was out there. He had the speed too, but he had something extra, something else that you was like, yo, this dude is really that dude. Like he's technically sound. He does things almost perfect. But you overlook that because I had that connection to what I saw Mosley was and what he was able to do and his ability and his power and the aura that was around him. You can't be emotional about these things. We got to be logical about what we see, especially in these sports like this, like with boxing. It's the hurt business. You know, you could try that emotional shit, but it's not gonna work for you. Eventually, you're gonna end up, you know, you're gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? So when I watch a guy like I said, when I watched Floyd, I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Nowadays, now I can look back on my thoughts to what Shane was, and he's still all time great. I think he's great, and I was a fan of his, and I'm still a fan of his now.
Yeah,
but the real fighter, the best fighter, was Floyd. That was just the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I always tried to fight against my brother, you know, Steve. Oh, he's a big Floyd guy. Talk about Floyd to be the. I was like, man, Mosey will kill him. Mosey will do this to him. Mosey will do that to him.
Let me ask you a question, because there's a lot of guys like that. Why does Floyd get such a hard time?
Because
I get it. You know, we get emotionally, like you just said it. We get emotionally attached to the fighters. We fall in love with the personalities. But why do we ignore? Why do we ignore what we're looking at? Like, listen,
Because
I could
it's
put
emotions.
on any great. I don't give a
Mhm.
damn which great you choose. You tell me I'm gonna put on Sugar Ray Robinson. Put him on. And we could put on Floyd Mayweather right after. And Floyd Mayweather's gonna look just as good or better than anybody that you can name that's ever put on a pair of boxing gloves. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest, but what I'm telling you is in any era, Floyd Mayweather deserves to be considered one of the best because
Listen,
all you have to do is look at the decisions he's making. Now, this not just goes for Floyd Mayweather. This goes for a list of fighters. Like this
of
isn't
course.
Floyd, but I'm using Floyd because you just brought him up. But my thing is,
Right.
why do we ignore what we're looking at, even as boxing aficionados? Like like I don't do it no more. I stopped doing that when Trinidad got knocked out by Bernard Hopkins. When Trinidad got knocked
That
out,
was one of that was one of the major ones.
I was done emotionally attaching myself to fighters. I said, you know what? I don't give a damn if you're Puerto Rican. I don't care if you grew up on my block. If I think you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose. I'm
You're
not
gonna
gonna
fucking
get
lose.
out of myself because that's when it all changed for me. Bernard really taught me that lesson because I ignored all the things that was literally in front of my eyes because I was emotionally attached to a Puerto Rican fighter by the name of Felix Trinidad.
So
Ignoring it. I go back and just look, say, man, I should have seen that shit coming. How did I see
how did you not see it?
how
Right?
did
How do
that?
how do how do how do we not see Bernard tearing him limb from limb? It was. And listen, if you look at boxing logically, and I remember one of the guys that we had around us who was a trainer, and he was a good trainer for the time, but we didn't respect his knowledge as much as probably we should have, or his understanding of the sport. He was older than us. He'd been in the sport longer than us. Even though he came out the pen, he still knew the game enough. You know what I'm saying? So we was looking at it because we were a Trinidad guy. I know my dad was one of the biggest Trinidad fans too, and oh, he gonna beat Bernard ass. He gonna, and I remember Brian looking at us like, y'all must be crazy. Bernard Hopkins is gonna destroy this guy. Nah, man, Trinidad gonna knock him out. Blah blah blah. Now we go back and now, me thinking with my logical hat on as an actual fighter and trainer and all that, and I'm thinking, how the hell could I have ever thought that Trinidad would beat Bernard Hopkins? First of all, he was 2 weight classes higher than he should have been. That's one. Two, his style was one dimensional. He had a big left hook. Now he had a decent right hand, but a huge left hook. Bernard knew that. Bernard ain't stupid, and Bernard's two
Yeah,
weight classes above him and stronger.
yeah, poor balance.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
Like
poor balance.
he had his back foot straight on. Like,
He
there's
did
no
not.
way.
He did not use his jab.
No.
He barely moved his head. He timed a slip here and there, but he was directly in the middle for the most part. Now he did do some good stuff.
Of
And
course. He wasn't.
don't get me wrong. Trinidad's the reason that I'm on this screen with you right now. I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for Trinidad, there would be no Coach Anthony. Probably because when I saw him fight and he was Puerto Rican and I fell in love at that time, I was into that whole Puerto Rican movement, to the point where I just, he's Puerto Rican, I got to go for him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how my grandmother was. And she's the reason I got into boxing. She used to make me watch boxing with her when I was like,
That's cool.
8 years old and shit. She'd be like, come on, let's watch some boxing. She'd say it in Spanish, of course. And I'd just be in the room with her watching Telemundo, watching boxing and stuff. And
That's good.
eventually it turned into Felix Trinidad. And don't get me wrong, man, I love Trinidad. But when I go back, what's funny? I never go back to watch him anymore.
Why is that?
I still go back and I watch guys like Floyd Mayweather. I still go back and I watch guys like Sugar Ray Leonard. I still go back and watch guys like James Toney. I still go back and I watch guys, that had real quality skills, something that I can take home and say, okay, I could take something from this guy and add it to my training regimen, add it to my philosophy, show it to my fighter, like, hey, did you see what he did right here? Okay, now we're gonna work on this.
Right.
I can't do that with Trinidad.
You know why? Because his was based on strict, and hear me when I say athleticism, there's different kinds. His was power. His was toughness. That's all he was about. He was coming straight at you, raw power, and you saw when he fought De La Hoya. probably should have lost that fight, but he didn't because De La Hoya came off the gas too
Can't
heavy in
tell
the
you
last four.
how happy I was when he won that fight, boy. I was so happy, and looking back on it
So
now,
was I.
I was like, yes, yeah, man, he won. Like I was ignoring what might have been true.
The obvious, right? The obvious. Like he lost the first 8 rounds, and De La Hoya won, and De La Hoya lost the last four. But I was like, okay, that still means De La Hoya won. But I guess they forgot about those 2 swing rounds that didn't really exist. But that's just the way the game is. You know what I mean? Who's popular, and then it's who's selling the most tickets, is what people want to see. De La Hoya was the pretty boy and all that, the golden boy, but Trinidad was that dog and is knocking people out unconscious, and they was like, we can make some money on this guy, and he's a fresh face. Let's get him out there. And sometimes it's just that simple, bro. That's all it is. So, but yeah, I mean, and I remember my dad coming back after that fight because he was a huge Trinidad guy, and he cursed out, man, Trinidad won that fucking fight. I'm like,
now, hold on. Before we continue to bash Trinidad,
no, we're not bashing him.
No.
He's an all-time great.
Some people might take it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
The man was a legend. Man beat. He did so many great things, man, in boxing. You know what I mean? So he deserves his flowers without a doubt. And his work for him. And you know what's interesting and what's actually dope to take away? And this is where experience comes into play as a coach. Because we love Trinidad so much. We study Trinidad so much. If I ever get a guy in the future, because the world has a way of recycling people, recycling body types, recycling situations, right? Like you're like, oh, if I ever run into a guy like Trinidad, I may know how to teach him. I may know how to work with him. I may know how to, you know what I mean? I may know who to reference to. Like, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of this guy named Felix Trinidad. I might get a kid who's 10 years old and when he turns, I mean, you remind me of, let's go back and watch. I never thought I'd go back and watch some old Trinidad film, but you remind me of this guy. Now look what he's doing. Okay, you see what he did that's good here? You can take something from that because you have similarities to that guy. And that's why it's good to be a boxing, person who remembers the fighters to go back and reference to. And that's why I like having a guy like Billy who you'll be like, oh man, back in 19.
He's a historian, yeah.
And that's the word I'm looking for. Like when you have that kind of knowledge, you know who to go back to. Like for instance, Winky Wright. Like Winky Wright became my favorite fighter for a very long time. I used to try to fight like Winky Wright when I was boxing. Simplified defense for me. You know what I'm saying? It simplified it. It made it where I was like, oh, I don't got to think. All I got to do is keep my hands up. I like this. As I got older and more experienced, then I realized this is a difficult way to fight if you do it all the time. And I started getting comfortable here. But this right here saved me for a long time because there was a time where I didn't really know defense the way I know it now. So this was easy. It's like, well, just block every fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't get punched clean, I'm cool.
Right. Well, and if you look at a lot of my fights, what did I used to do?
Yeah, but see, you did it different than Winky though. You're like,
I moved my head too. I did different stuff.
Winky, you know what's crazy? When I go back and watch Winky now, and I want you to do this on your spare time, he didn't actually stay like this the whole time either. Like that's what people remember of him.
Right.
He used to actually punch more than I remember when I watched him. Like he actually punched more than and he actually used to go behind the shoulder in his own awkward way. Like it wasn't like he just stood here like Ike Cortez, who just literally locked up completely. Like he used to like ride punches and stuff, and then he bring his hands up, and then so you know what I mean. Winky actually had elements to his defense that I think people don't remember. People only remember the hands up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because that was the big staple that he had. That was one of the things that most people remember because it was something that was different. Not everybody did that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of like draw people to remember. Oh yeah, he the one who fought with his hands. He fought with the earmuffs on. And but regardless of it, whether that was all he did or not, he made a hell of a career off of that. He won titles based on that. So you can say whatever the hell you want about him. He was a great because of it. So you know what I mean? People, and that's the thing. There's gonna be so many different styles out here that you're going to see. May not be prototypical to what you like or what most people may like, but if it works for them, it works for them. There's a fighter. I think his name is. I don't know if it's Matisse. I can't remember, but he's. I think he wants to say he's a Spanish guy. But listen, he has a weird style, but I like it. It's a weird style. I'm not used to seeing it. He got good hand speed. I don't know. I don't even know the last time he fought. I can't remember, but I watched. I'm like, damn, I like his style. I like the way he fights. He ain't slick or anything. He ain't really got a whole lot of this, but he places punches in a different way. He throws punches at odd angles, and he's pretty fast and powerful. I was like, yo, I like this dude, but he's not the normal kind of fighter that I would be like, oh shit, I like this. This is my normal kind of guy. This slick style, like kind of like a Boots Ennis. He's a little different than that, or a lot different than that. But it's something that I like to see. Like I said, there's just so much. There's so many things out there that you can see with boxing. That's what's exciting about the sport.
And that, what's crazy? That's something to bring back to what the whole topic is, because we sometimes get off course. But I had a kid DM me the other day, right? I don't remember his name right now. I get so many of these, but he said, "Hey, coach, do you have any courses that teaches how to fight like Shakur Stevenson? Because I have a Shakur Stevenson boxing style." So I said, "You have a Shakur Stevenson boxing style?" I said, "Okay." I said, "How long you been boxing?" "I've been boxing for 3 months." "You ever sparred before?" "No, I've never sparred before." "Okay. So you have a Shakur Stevenson boxing style. You've been boxing for 3 months. You've never actually physically used any of the skills that you did acquire in 3 months. And you've already labeled yourself as a Shakur Stevenson boxing style, which is not something that we do as fighters, coaches, for anybody who's experienced. Now, maybe after some years of proving that you do certain things well, maybe you may say, well, I do a lot of things I see James Toney do, or I do a lot of things that I've seen so-and-so do, or Shakur Stevenson. But this is after you've proven yourself, for a period of time, right? Not somebody who's just... So what it showed me is that people in their own mind have this false perception of reality when it comes to fighting. Remember when, like, they used to do the mitt, like Kevin Hart did the videos with the mitt work? Like, and compare it, like what we think we look like on the mitts, and then
what you actually look like.
Versus Floyd with Roger, and then they freaking Kevin Hart, and it's whatever. That's literally a big population of beginner boxers. So yeah, I know that's so the whole point of me saying that is you need to learn the fundamentals, man. I can't say that enough. You need to learn the fundamentals. Don't worry about having a boxing style. Don't worry about fighting like Shakur Stevenson or Jerron Boots Ennis or Roy Jones or Floyd. Like, don't. Eddie Chambers. Like, don't do that. Like, you need to learn the fundamentals. And then off the fundamentals, then you continue to learn, and then eventually you get to apply. And then once you apply, you're going to make mistakes, and then you're going to get more data, and then you're going to go back, and you're going to continue to refine your skill set. And then before you know it, you will be a boxer. And like people say, don't try to be the second best somebody, be the best you. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That is a fact. The worst thing you can do is try to mimic somebody else and not be yourself. What's that heavyweight that wanted to be so badly like Roy Jones? And if he could have pulled it off, he might have been an all-time great, but he was like 6'7". I think his name was Kelvin something. I can't remember his name, but he was about like 6'7", and he fought like Roy Jones, or he tried to fight like Roy Jones. And Wilder knocked him out bad. He knocked him out real bad. But if I'm not mistaken, he wanted to fight like Roy Jones. And it's like, instead of doing that, trust me, Roy's a great, but Roy is Roy. You can go out there and try to do what Roy Jones did, but most people are not going to be able to do it successfully. Most people are going to get knocked the fuck out like he did. You understand what I'm saying? So Roy, if you can get the fundamentals down, maybe take some things that Roy did, some principles of his game that weren't just because of how great and athletic he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah,
and
I'm gonna
you
be
can take it.
honest. I stole my right hand lead from Roy Jones Jr. Now, of course, I don't do it as good as Roy Jones did, but I got a good
But
right hand lead. I like to say, and it was
but you do,
Roy.
but you turn Roy Jones' right hand lead into Coach Anthony's right hand lead.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
Yeah. So it's not the best. My right hand lead may not be as good as Roy Jones, but no. Your right hand lead's as good as his was for him, for you.
right.
You understand what I'm saying?
He's
It's
who I
it's
got
it,
the idea from, I should say. You know,
exactly. And I think that's what more people need to think about is I'm a huge James Tony guy, more than all of the other guys I followed. I was a big Holyfield guy, obviously Shane Mosley guy, Roy Jones, but James Tony was crowned the number one that I fuck with. I was like, man, that dude right there got stuff with his game that is special. And I'm still in awe from what I saw him do in some of those fights. So when I look at what he does and how he does it, yeah, I can take bits and pieces of it, but I'm not James Tony. I didn't come up in the game like James Tony. There's certain things that I do that are similar to him, but they're not exactly as he does it. You understand what I'm saying?
hmm
But ain't no mistake. There's no mistake about it. You see me do something that he's done. If I can pull it off, I'm excited just about being able to do this shit because like I said, I'm a huge James guy, but it's gonna be the best version of it that I can do.
even if you did it naturally on your own, and somebody said, "Hey, man, that reminded me of James," and you weren't even trying to mimic James, you're gonna probably smile. You're gonna be like, "I look
I'm
like,
gonna be
yeah." You know what I'm
you
saying?
fucking right.
You
You goddamn right. I'd be sitting there like, yo, I did that? Oh, I shoulder roll, came back with the right hand like he did. Did that really look like it? I'd be like, shit. As much experience as I got in this game, that would be one of my happiest moments. Like if I knock somebody out with a counter right hand like that. I'm like, what?
the shoulder roll counter
That's
um,
tough.
is
Oh,
a hard move to pull off, man.
what? It's the confidence to do it. It's really the confidence to do it because it's like you can believe that right hand's coming and you know it's coming, you see it, but to have the ability to be able to roll and come back with that shot, just get that shoulder up in time, catch the shot, roll it and come back with the right hand. Look, man, it takes work to get to that point. Like you're not just gonna do that shit just because you saw it happen a couple times. Nah, you gonna have to go in the gym and work on it. You gonna have to take chances in sparring more than a few times. You gonna have to do that same thing in some fights if you think you're gonna pull it off. You
But
gotta really.
that's why I tell people, man, when you're learning defense and you're learning countering, it's always good to box somebody who you're a little bit better than in
Mhm.
the beginning, so you could, or a little more experienced than, so you could work on these things. You know what I'm saying? Because if the first time you try to pull this off is against somebody who has more experience than you, or somebody who's a better fighter than you, you're probably going to get countered. So you're better off, refining it and working it not only through drilling, but working it through, a little bit, little less experienced guys. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you got to hurt them, but they throw the shot, you rip the shot right back, and if it lands or whatever, you know what I mean? But the problem with that is sometimes you end up knocking guys out. Remember when you knocked out that fighter in the gym, Eddie, by mistake?
Yo, yo, and it was an accident just on that same shit. That roll the shoulder, right uppercut, boom. And he goes down. I'm like, oh shit! I tried to catch him. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I
But
still got that video. I ain't gonna post it, but I got that.
please don't post
I
that.
don't want to
And
hurt
I think he hit me up not too long ago too, man. I was talking to
Yeah,
him.
I ain't
Funny
want.
enough,
We keep that in the gym, but
yeah, it
yeah.
just happens, man. And he was a lighter weight guy. That's why, like, I didn't put a lot on it, but it doesn't take a lot, especially in the shot with a shot that people don't see coming. Man, it don't take a lot.
Nah, people don't realize that you don't got to hit a guy hard to knock him out. You know,
What?
you,
No.
it just got to land right timing. You know what I'm
What
saying?
did what did Tank say? What did Tank say about the shot that he hit Rolly with? He said, I didn't even throw it that hard. Does it take it? Sometimes it just doesn't take that much, man. In certain circumstances, certain situations, and you're already a gifted enough puncher, you land the shot right, boom, it don't matter. Good night. That's just how it is.
Right. Yeah, guys, we're here. We're talking about. We started off talking about um, uh, how to get into boxing with no trainer. Then it just turned into something else, man. But hopefully we're providing you guys value. If you guys are getting value from this, please press the like button, man. That's all I ask, man. Hit the bell notification so you guys can be alerted for the rest of these no days off November. Last week I was, in fight week with Raymond Ford. We just came off of a big victory. I was doing lives in hotel lobbies. I was looking like you, Eddie. I had the cell phone. You know what I mean? I mean, I
Makeshift.
wasn't set up. I didn't really have a game plan for these lives. I was just doing regular Q&As and answering questions. And those are always good because people got a lot of questions. A lot of people have been asking questions here tonight, but we're trying to keep it on a topic so you guys can really learn and really get in depth. Also, guys, so you guys know, I'm starting my Black Friday sale tonight. So if you guys have ever wanted anything from my website, today is the best day to start, right? You're going to get it right now. Black Friday deal starts now. I haven't been promoting those sales for a minute now. I've been waiting for Black Friday. I'm not going to sit here and talk too much about the sales. You guys know the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. If you guys want to go ahead and get, my courses at the best price you're ever going to get them, now is the time. I'm starting early. CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. The Master Boxing Bundle right now is the best thing that can go. Eddie, I'm doing 90% off.
Ooh, seriously, bro?
People who are
90?
people who are getting the Master Boxing Bundle. Now, let me show you what I'm doing too. This is to show y'all how I get down. Now, Eddie, before we talk about that, yesterday we had somebody come in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this person had a bicep injury.
Yeah.
Bicep, right? I don't remember his name. I got to go through it. And I couldn't answer the question because that's one thing I don't do. I don't make believe I know stuff that I know nothing about, right? Like if somebody asks me a question and I don't know, I'm gonna be honest. Yo, bro, that's out of my specialty. That's out of my league. I can't answer that. So person asked me about a bicep injury. How should they do this? I never had one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I never trained a fighter who had one under my supervision. Tevin Farmer had a bicep injury, but I wasn't with him for that. You had a bicep injury. I wasn't with him for that. But I went ahead. I gave you a phone call. I think it was like 10:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, we got somebody on the live bicep situation where you come up. I got you, right? You pulled up. We answered the question in depth, okay, for like 20 minutes. Who does that, Eddie?
Like it was just we was talking about that yesterday. Like who really?
I'm just curious. Like there's YouTube channels that are like freaking outperforming me by like tenfold, and you are not getting these people to get on the phone, call a resource like Fast Eddie Chambers, professional fighter. Fast Eddie Chambers, 48 professional fights, 4-4 world title, will still whoop your ass to this day. To get on the damn phone on camera, right, virtual, to answer the question. Just to help the people.
Just on the strength.
So now I had a guy the other day actually hit me up and say, Coach, he thought he was being funny, right? Well, he was being funny, I should say. Man, we're gonna do the 90% sale, right? Because I always last year I was doing like 75% sales and like that. Right?
That's a lot, bro.
I was the only one doing 75% sales last year, right? This dude's gonna say, man, when are you gonna do the 90% sale? I said, hell no, I ain't doing no 90% sale. But then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? For the people who want all the courses, for the people who are willing to invest, especially if you never grabbed my courses before, you know what? We're gonna do 90%. And not only am I gonna do 90%, I'm gonna add a free call. So for everybody who gets the Master Boxing Bundle, I'm gonna do a free call, a consultation call to see where you're at, to help you navigate through the courses, to see if we can go ahead and put something together for you. So the call is also included, Eddie. This has never been heard of before in the history of online boxing coaching.
Coach Anthony is for the people, for sure.
I'm just coming off a big win. I could have doubled my prices right now. You know what I mean? Raymond Ford is right now the hottest thing on the zone right now. I could have doubled my prices. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and hook the people up. We got Eddie. Let's talk a little bit about you, man. So you're going to be fighting again.
Yeah. I'm going to get punched in the face a little bit more.
Again, yo. Eddie Chambers, you're fighting again.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I want to go back into this whole process of getting punches thrown at my head for fun. and for profit. Just but honestly, man, I just really want to see how much I have left and what I can really do. Most people will say, it's about earning or it's about legacy. Right now, for me, it's about both. You know what I mean? To fight the way I fought all these years and put and literally give my life to the sport. I've been, completely invested in this sport for the majority of my life. To not really have anything to show for it as I exit is just not something I want to deal with at this point. I feel like there's a few things that I can still leave, still get from it. My body still have some ability left, some capability left here. I think I can impact the sport a little more, not just through training, but also through fighting. So, why not? Why not give it a shot? And if everything is everything, and if, this next fight proves to be, I'm feeling. Of course, I'm not going to be at my best right away. You know what I mean? And the guy is not going to be the biggest challenge I've ever had up to this point. So I just want to see where I'm at and see how I feel. If I feel good and I feel like I look good and treat this guy as he should not be in my league and I'm able to perform in that manner, then we'll keep going. If I don't feel the way I should feel, and I don't do as well as I should, even in a win, I'm not gonna fool myself. You know
Well,
what I mean?
we're not gonna talk like that, Eddie. You made a decision,
Oh yeah,
and that's one thing that us as men have to remember, man. Once we make a decision, we're in.
yeah.
You made a decision to fight again.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
You made a decision to fight again, okay? And that's it. That's the decision. So there is.
Oh yeah. I don't want you to.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're being realistic, but
Yeah.
there's no need to even be realistic because you are a fantastic fighter. And if you really want to do this, I have absolute confidence in you, and I know you're gonna do fantastic. And all you got to do is do your part. It ain't about what your body. We know that if you do what you're supposed to do,
Right.
you're gonna be fine. So just do what you're supposed to do. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be more than fine. So we'll keep you guys updated with that. You know what I mean? How Eddie's training and everything goes along for that. If I have anything to say about it, Eddie's gonna, win by knockout. We knockouts now, Eddie. That's what we want now. I mean, I'm getting cocky. I'm playing.
We need knockouts, especially at this level. There's no doubt about that.
Knockouts, man. But listen, guys, seriously, man. All jokes aside, man. If you guys grab the Master Boxing Bundle, okay? So my courses are not 90% off individually. This is for people who are ready to invest in the whole program. You want to have a private call with me, just like this, one-on-one. You see what I'm saying? To see if I can help you. You want to go ahead and get all my courses at one time. You're ready to fully commit. Let's go ahead. Let's make it happen. Black Friday sale starts now. And Eddie, we're going to get you involved in the 2.0 too, man. When I get on the call with you guys, we're going to talk about some things moving forward, and we'll see if, we can have the greats like Fast Eddie Chambers get involved in some of this stuff, man. But that's a whole nother topic. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, the sale starts now. I will be talking about these sales throughout the rest of the course of No Days Off November, but we are also going to be dropping a new course. Okay, we're gonna be dropping a new course. Okay, and that course is gonna be called Drillers Make Killers, Eddie. All right, Drillers Make Killers. We already made this course. I haven't put it out yet. We're gonna drop that too. Drillers Make Killers will be part and only available in the Master Boxing Bundle. Okay, so if you guys want Drillers Make Killers, you can't get it individually. You got to either be part of my 2.0 program or you got to get the Master Boxing Bundle. And what better time to get the Master Boxing Bundle than right now? You see what I'm saying?
90% off.
Hold on. For some reason, your website ain't working, Coach. Okay, I think I got my guy actually doing something. Hey, champ. A few people are trying to go to the website. Maybe you're working on it right now. Just give them a few minutes, man. We're just working on a few things. I'm pretty sure that's the reason, man. So thank you for pointing that out. But it'll be ready in a few minutes, man. So Eddie, man, am I crazy for doing this?
I would say that normally, but I think Coach Anthony's for the people, man. He got to be for the people sometime. He can't, we're not selfish over here. We looking out for the cookout. We got to make sure these people get what they need. So and like we said, we trying to save boxing one fighter at a time. So we can't let these guys,
Listen,
run into these crazy teachers. You know what I mean?
listen, man, Eddie. I feel like it's our duty at this point to make sure that at bare minimum, like you said, everything's about legacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's about, like, at the end of the day, you can't take the money with you. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a fact. That is a fact.
Everything's about legacy. So yes, we're in this to make a living. Yes, we want to be compensated for our time. Yes, we want to live good, and do, live life like everybody else. But when it's all said and done, it's about integrity. It's about making sure that we did our best while we were here. And that's why we have to make sure, as professionals, high quality professionals, that, we're putting out the best stuff. And right now, I want to give people an opportunity to see exactly what we've been talking about this whole time. For those who are curious, for those who have hesitated, for those who have said, you know what, I've always wanted to grab that Master Boxing bundle, but I don't know, man. I want people now to have no excuse. So now we go ahead, and then not only that, I'm going to get on a call with these people so I can see how I can really customize and personalize this for them as well, because we all know that that's that extra sense of support that we all need. So, man, it's really a steal, man. It's actually the name of my sale is the Black Friday Steal, because it's a freaking steal.
That's a fact.
This is temporary, Eddie.
10%.
This is temporary. Yeah, your server is overloading because overloading. Nobody's bought anything yet, man. Look, I got the code in. I trust you.
That's because they all in the queue. That's why.
When this goes to here, that's when you know that the sales are coming through. No, but honestly, Eddie, we got more coming, man. That's the other thing. Like right now, it's going to be a busy month. Obviously, we got Black Friday coming up, so I'm already going to be going crazy with this. I'm going to be on these lives. You got a fight coming up, next, we got the holidays coming up. There's just a lot going on right now. It's a very, very busy time. You know what I'm saying? So, look. Hey, Chan.
You see?
Because I might have prematurely announced this, guys. Give me about 10 more minutes to make sure. 5 to 10. Look, I just got the message. 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes, guys. 5 to 10 minutes. We're gonna be ready. Okay, so just chill out. We're gonna take
you
guys.
But that lets you know, Ed.
Well, what it is honestly, I might change my mind tomorrow when I wake up. I'm gonna be honest.
You're gonna be on the phone all day, bro.
I might wake up tomorrow and be like, yo, what the hell did I say yesterday? You know what I'm saying? So I might not keep this guy. So the people who are here waiting, this is probably a really good idea. Stick around, get it now, because I've been known to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? I didn't write no contract out. I ain't said this is set in stone. I never signed on no dotted line. This is just how I'm feeling today, but I'm thinking this is how I'm gonna keep it. But who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Let's let this trial run keep going. See what happens.
Yeah, man.
For the people.
He said you giving pressure to your IT coach guy. I know the feeling. Yeah, man. Nah, yeah. He's got some pressure on him now. There's some pressure on him now. Yeah, Eddie. So, guys, the moral of the story is don't try to learn this boxing game on your own if you're serious about it, right? Yes, the YouTube videos are great. They're entertaining, and you will learn something. I mean, listen.
More than some. You're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you could do anything, and you're going to learn. Eventually, you're going to start to put the pieces together. But the whole purpose of courses, school, going through anything is to shorten up the learning curve, right? The whole goal is we want to get to the goal faster because time is money, and there's nothing more in life than time.
That's right.
Well, we're spending years trying to figure something out that we could figure out in, a couple of months with the right guidance, is worth it. It's like, well, damn, I could have been spending 2 years trying to figure this out. And man, you just helped me figure this out in 1, 2, 3. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. So
That is right.
So Eddie, man, where are you fighting?
Actually supposed to be in Wyoming. I gotta look at the itinerary and what was going on with that. Make sure I know exactly what city. But it's the first of hopefully a few more of I don't want to say many. No, I don't want to say too many, but hopefully this is the first in the process of me getting me back to a good level in boxing, at least to cement my legacy as a decent prize fighter, and hopefully somebody that people can remember. I mean, it's not out of the question to find a way to get to a title this late. There's opportunities out there for it. You know what I mean? There's people that have done it before me, so it's not impossible. It's just is my body gonna be able to hold up? I'm not 70, I'm not 60, but I'm not 50, but I am, a little older than most who are in it. So with that being said, I just want to get the most out of my body at this point, and obviously try to be as best as I possibly could be at this point, and hopefully that turns me in and maybe gets me a title opportunity somewhere, make a little bit of money too.
What weight are you going to be fighting at?
We're looking Bridger, Cruiser. It's got to be a special situation for a heavyweight fight at this point. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm in and around there. You know what I mean? I'm still thinking about, but if it's a big situation and they're talking about like something I can't turn down, why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? So right now we'll see. But right now we're talking about Bridger and Cruiser as the two places that I want to dwell in right now. That's for now.
Everybody's saying you looking lean, man. Look, Mark said, what weight is Eddie fighting at? He's looking lean. Somebody called you a welterweight the other day.
The first time I met Samuel Peter, he asked me what weight I fight at, and he was like, "Are you welterweight?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm heavyweight." And I fought him like 2 years later, but I don't know why. I guess I look smaller than I am because I'm still over. I'm well over 200 right now, so it's not. I'm not that big. I'm not that heavy. And whenever I work out, I guess I literally could lose 5 to 6 pounds in a workout. Obviously, it's water weight mainly, but yeah, it doesn't take me much to get pounds off. So that tells me that I probably need to be a little more. Well, I'm already consistent with working out, but a little more consistent with some of the other aspects of my training. So I'm on it though. A pretty disciplined guy, and I want to keep that going because that's especially at this age. There's a few things that you're going to have over a lot of my younger counterparts, and I want to make sure that I keep the discipline pretty strong because it's going to take twice the work to keep up with these young guys than what it did in the past. So yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, man, Eddie, man, that's dope, man. That's super dope. Guys, I think everything's working now. Discount code is Black Friday Steel 90. Black Friday Steel 90. Visit codehansonboxing.com. Telling you, I can't do 10% from 90 is 100% off. Like you're literally like that's how close this is to free. Like
you're literally paying 10% of what you normally have to pay. 10%. Right.
Yeah.
I'm about to buy that shit, bro. I mean, I'm in it and I'm still about to buy that shit. Like, yo, shit. But I gotta be stupid not to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, man.
If I wasn't in it, I would. I'm telling you.
Don't forget that they also get the call. It's not just the courses. Right, so
I get that for free.
And every course that we have up to date, including Drillers Make Killers that I didn't even release yet anywhere else. Okay.
I think I'm gonna get it, Ant.
And you're gonna get the personal one-on-one call with me. So you can see if we can help you further. So I mean, this is a no-brainer. Gerald, I see your message. Gerald, already booked for November 17th. Coach Sky's excited. Are we good? Yes, we are. We are good. November 17th. He's actually part of my 2.0 program. So Gerald, yes, I'm gonna be helping him and his son. He's coaching his son, and he's looking for a little bit extra hand with his coaching. I seen you send me a bunch of
Smart.
videos. We're gonna go over everything, Gerald. Gerald, you're gonna be a very happy customer. El Futuro, I will be on there right now. I already told you I'm gonna talk to you privately. He's also another person in my 2.0 program. I'm gonna talk to you privately to add some more calls for you. So don't worry, man. I ain't forgot about you. I was supposed to hit you up today. I just got super busy. So yeah, man, we're super busy right now. But guys, right now is the time. Now is the time. Discount code Black Friday still 90. Grab that Master Boxer bundle, guys. Don't be foolish, man. Go ahead and grab that. If you're watching this late, the Black Friday sale starts now as we speak. Now is the time to jump on that, Eddie. Let me see. Oh yeah, Eddie, my son's jaw dropped when he saw you with Coach Anthony in the personal message video. Thank you. Yeah.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. I just want to help. I want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? I see progress that with him, and he's gonna have a hell of a future. So why not help out? You know what I mean? Like I said, we trying to save these guys, man. We need to. You know what I mean? We want to keep them away from these bad teachers out here. So that's why this whole 2.0 thing is perfect, and good little fighters like your son deserves it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's funny because he wants to be Pacquiao, but he likes to shoulder roll. So it's like they call him Mini Pac-Man, but he also likes to shoulder roll. So he's like confused. He's like, he's the devil and the angel on each shoulder. You know what I'm saying? But that's actually imagine having that mix in real life though, like being able to be offensive like Pacquiao, but then when you start throwing back at him, all of a sudden he starts dipping, sliding, shoulder roll. Imagine that would be a devastating fighter.
Who's similar to that? As close as I can think of it is Boots Ennis, man. He's the closest I could think of is that, and with the power too. He's the closest I could think of that is somebody that has that defensive ability, but at the same time still free-handed with the offense with power and speed. It's that's why I say he's gonna be a problem, man, going in the future. A problem.
Yeah, man. Eddie, I know I've had you on here for a long time, man. I know you got things you got to do. This week,
sleep.
Yeah, you definitely need some sleep. This week, I'm going to come up with another good topic for us to talk about. Guys, do me a favor in the chat. Give us a topic that you would like me and Eddie to touch on.
That's a good idea.
You know what I mean? I think that's a good way to do it, man. What do the people want? What would you like Eddie and I to sit down in depth and speak about? If I don't see enough requests, I'll just go ahead and we'll put something together. I need everybody to press the like button. I need everybody to hit the bell notifications. Hit the bell notifications so you are alerted. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury especially working around guys like Eddie's schedule to just have a set time every single day. So the best thing that we can do is we promised that we were going to get on here every single day for the month of November. I've kept my promise no matter what I've had going on. I did it on fight day. I did it the day of the weigh-ins. We did it the press conference day. I still showed up, Eddie. I still showed up.
Even if it's for 10 minutes, that's what's up.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's for 10 minutes, you know what I mean? Look, we've been on here for an hour and 43 minutes. That's why I tell people sometimes I can't stay on as long. Other times I'm going to make up for it. I literally just made up for it with this live with you. We want to bring you guys the most value that we can. We want you guys to feel like, you know what, man, we know where to go when we want real boxing information. We know to go to Coach Anthony Boxing. We know Eddie and Coach Ant is going to keep it 100 with us. They're not going to sugarcoat nothing. You know what I mean? And let's see here. Tips and advice for up-and-coming trainers holding mitts. Maybe that'll be a topic that we touch on, man. Maybe that'll be a topic that we touch on, champ.
You man.
Oh yeah, you know. And also the code is working, Anja, the code is working. So it's Black Friday. I seen that you asked for that. Okay, it's Black Friday Steal 90. Okay, Black Friday Steal 90. Okay, and this is the thing about the courses. You know, somebody asked me about the mitts, right? And don't get me wrong, eventually we're gonna come out with a mitt tutorial for you guys. I know people have been, and I've been holding off. Eddie, I'm gonna give out the secrets. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
for me to want to give out all the secrets. I don't know if I'm gonna give them all out. We'll see how we feel. We always say that, and we end up giving more than what we freaking said we were.
90% of the time.
No,
No
but
pun intended.
we'll see. We'll see how I feel. You know, it depends if I had, you know, enough caffeine in me that day. But what I
Yeah.
will say is this: if you're smart, and I'm gonna give you a tip, you go through the courses and see what Eddie and I are working on and add it to your mitt work regimen as the coach. Watch how I hold the mitts for Eddie. Watch the move that he makes. Of course, you got to learn the moves. Of course, you got to be able to do the moves and you got to be able to demonstrate whatever. But once you know this stuff, add it to the mitts. You know, a lot of times I'll have Eddie cutting angles on the mitts. A lot of times, like in defensive principles 101, you throw a right hand, I throw a hook automatically so you can get comfortable with rolling your head after the right hand. These are things that we do on the mitts. If you are holding mitts correctly, you know, you're holding them fundamentally. Of course, the fancy mitt work and all those things that I do, you know what I mean? That's just the, what do you like to call that, Eddie?
What?
Like the extra.
The eye candy
Yeah,
version of it.
all that is the sprinkles, guys. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have something for you guys who love the flashy mitt work. Don't get me wrong, I get it.
Yeah.
It's part of the boxing training. It makes boxing fun. I'm not one of these old school guys that are like, I hate that mitt work. I don't like that mitt work if you are teaching with that mitt work. But if you're using that mitt work for what it's used for, man, it's dope. It's fun. We do it all the time. Listen, I could get crazy with that mitts, man. I've toned it down over the years, right or wrong.
A lot. You toned it down a lot.
I used to be on some like, but there's nothing I can't do with them damn mitts. But I toned it down because I've gotten so into teaching the art and science of boxing that I've gotten away from doing those things. But trust me, if somebody called me out, trust me, you give me a couple of days.
Come on,
I got that work for anybody out there on the mitts, Eddie. Don't piss me off, man.
Oh, I know. I already know. You ain't gotta say it. You ain't gotta say that. You ain't got. I ain't seen many that can do it even close to as good. So we know. I already know. Trust me.
This is the guy, Ghetto Dora. You're the guy. You're the one who said 90% off sale. I said hell no, and guess what? We're doing it. We're doing the 90% off sale. Ghetto Dora, I couldn't wait till you got in here. 90% off sale, the Master Boxing Bundle. Ghetto Dora, it was your idea. It was your idea, man. So everybody say thanks to Ghetto Dora. He said it as a joke, and I ended up saying, you know what? Good idea.
You see what he's saying?
Why is catch and drop so difficult? I always get hit while I'm dropping. How do I fix this problem? Okay. This is where, man, everybody's saying code's not working. How is this possible?
It's probably a lot of people. It's probably crashing. Kind of like the game was doing the same thing. It's probably just a lot of people want it. 90% off, coach.
Listen, when you guys go to the website, we just did a test. Apparently, it is working. You go to the top, it says discount code, and you put Black Friday Steal 90. Okay, and it's only for the Master Boxing Bundle. Okay.
They might be trying to get it with like one of them.
It's not for the individual courses, all right? The individual courses are not 90% off. You got to grab the Master Boxing Bundle if you want the 90% off. So maybe that's where the confusion is. I don't know. Let me see something real quick. But yeah, the Master Boxing Bundle, it is 90% off the Master Boxing Bundle. If you want an individual course, I haven't been talking about that. All my individual courses, Eddie, are $300. Right now, I'm going to give you one price. You don't need a code, $79. All you got to do is scroll down to where it says individual courses, And if you just want to grab one, $79. I don't even know what that is. It's like 75% off or some crazy number. I don't even know. That's
Damn.
we can go for one course. I can't like give you 90% off one course. I'm complimenting the people who are ready to get the whole bundle right now. But if you want to just grab one, $79, you don't need a code. Just go there to where it says if you only want to buy one course. It's right on the main page. Just press the button and
Damn, man. Damn, man. It's looking good out here for the people. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. But oh yeah, back to this question. I always get, why is the cash drop so difficult? I always get hit while dropping. How do I fix this problem? Well, this is where you would benefit, Ghetto Dora. You would benefit from the Coach Anthony 2.0. And the reason why I say that is so I can see what's going wrong. I can't really answer this question without seeing it. Right. So in Coach Anthony 2.0, you would be able to actually upload some videos. I would be able to see it. OK. And then from there, I can tell you what you're doing wrong. You know what I'm trying to say? Catching and dropping most likely is a timing issue. Most likely you're not timing the shot properly, because you do have to time the shot. You see what I'm saying? You can't just like drop at your own will. You got to drop when you see the shot coming. You know what I'm saying? So that could be the issue. It's most likely, off the top of my head, a timing issue. What do you think, Eddie?
9 times out of 10 in that situation, it is. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times guys too, they're up so high, they're not already in a athletic position. So then sometimes it's a little bit harder to get to the complete drop. So what that creates is more of a timing issue. So now you got to go from one extreme to the next. You're up high, then you know what I mean. Then you got to drop all the way down. So I think just already be in a solid enough position. That way, it's easier to get to the drop. So one thing is you want to make sure that you eliminate things that cause longer lulls and movement and from takes you so much time going from point A to point B. Put yourself in a decent kind of middle ground. You know what I mean? Depending on what it is you're doing. That doesn't mean every single thing. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what you're doing. In a situation like this where you're catching, you give them a target, you catch the shot and immediately drop. You know what I'm saying? Try not to add any other movements, or you catch it, then you raise up and then you drop. You'd be surprised. And this is why having a trainer look over this stuff is so important. You know what I mean? Because some things you just can't see that you're doing. You know what I mean? You're doing it off reaction and instinct. So sometimes it may be a little more difficult for you to see the mistake you might make. You understand what I'm saying? So in this scenario, I think, like you said, that 2.0 would be perfect for them, because then at least they will have the opportunity to see what it is that they're doing and you to see what they're doing, so you can kind of articulate what it is they need to do to fix it.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's definitely difficult to try to guess what you're doing wrong. The concepts work. You see Eddie doing them in the course. You see fighters doing them in the fights. So the concepts work is about what are you personally doing wrong. So you need to get into the nitty gritty. I would suggest you book a call with Miguel Dora. I see that you said you almost have every single course except for 2 not useful for me. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, all the individual courses are $79 instead of the $300 that they cost. So you can definitely grab those. Or even better, I would highly suggest that you don't even get those 2 courses. You book a call with me and we go ahead and see what we could do moving forward with 2.0, so I could try to help you even, further. So 2.0 is definitely great for people who want to connect and really want to know what they're having personalized issue with. We literally are building out custom courses for people in 2.0, where me and Eddie are looking at what people are doing, and then we're making specific videos for these people based off their own personal needs. But that's something that is only in the 2.0 system. And that's a case-by-case basis. You know what I mean? It just depends. Everybody that I work with on 2.0, I'm working with them a little bit differently. I got a father who's coaching his son. I got a female who's trying to improve her boxing. I got another father that's coaching his son that I'm going to be talking to in a couple of days. I have another guy in the Army who's actually overseas, and I'm helping him get ready for another amateur fight, even though he's doing the best he can, not having no coaches. So everybody's situation is unique. I can't. It's not like a one tailor made. That's the difference between 2.0 and all the courses. But what's dope is I'm giving out one call with the Master Boxing Bundle that will automatically see if we can go to that next step. You know what I mean? I think there goes the answer right there. I try to catch from the traditional position out the Philly shell. Probably that's the issue, is bending the way slower from a traditional stance. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
There goes the answer right there. You're standing in the middle trying to drop. When you're in the Philly shell more so, you're already halfway there almost. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly what we said, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're standing in the middle, chances are you're going to have to roll. Your version of a drop is going to have to be a roll. You know what I mean? Because from that standing in the middle position, if somebody throws a hook to your body and I catch it here, when they go to the hook to the head, I can do one of these. If I'm standing here, it's easier for me to block it and do one of these. So it just depends how you're standing. So yeah, that makes a big deal.
Good. That gave us some insight really on it.
Coach, I'm just someone who wants to get and stay sharp and get fit in boxing. What do you suggest? Well, I mean, you have options, right? You get a heavy bag. You can grab my courses. You can follow along. You can sign up to Coach Anthony 2.0. I can help and customize a plan for you that you could do at home or at a local gym that has a heavy bag. Or you could just join one of those fitness boxing gyms in your area if that's just something you want to do. You really have options at this point. You're not looking to fight. You already understand that. So, you can either learn from somebody like myself, Eddie Chambers, or you could find something local in your area and just sign up for the monthly membership, or you can find a trainer and pay him for personal training sessions. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really just up to you what you're looking to do. And that's the thing, Eddie, like if somebody does a personal training session, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say this is the average price in our area. I don't know about you guys, but the average price in our area for boxing personal training is about anywhere from $125 to $165 an hour. That's the average in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area for personal training. Like, how much do you think you're going to learn in 1 hour? You know what I'm saying? From a boxing coach, and you just paid $165. Now he might give you a deal if you get like 10 sessions at a time or something like that. But when somebody buys a course, right, at $79, that's probably equivalent to like 20 or 30 personal training sessions.
That's true. That's true. That's something we don't think about.
Like people don't think about that. Like if you grab one of my courses right now for $79, or if you went ahead and used the 90% discount code and grabbed all my courses, I promise you that you're gonna learn more from that one course than you ever will. You'll run out of money by the time you learn everything that we teach in the course if you're paying a personal trainer at hourly rate. You know what I mean? At least based off of these prices in this area, unless you're getting personal training for like $1, you're not gonna.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, you're not gonna top it. Like I promise you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's the amount of information that's on there. And don't get me wrong, if you have a trainer that's holding you accountable, it makes it there's obviously quality and depth to that. But especially if you're paying $125 to $165, you gonna spend a lot of bread when you pay $79 and you got basically all of that, right there. Now, like I said, the trainer is holding you accountable. He's there with you daily, but it's gonna cost you a lot more. And you'll get benefit from it. You'll get a lot of benefit from it, but maybe not to the level of our quality. You know what I mean? There's no guarantee, but you will have somebody there with you daily. So, I mean, it all depends on what you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I think the deal you're getting with this is a can't miss. It's literally a steal, and you better steal it while you can.
Right, 100%. I'm not comfortable with the shoulder roll. Should I learn the shoulder roll first before I'm trying to catch and do the drop drill? By the way, I'm saving for Coach Anthony 2.0. Yeah, I would say definitely, man. You do everything step by step, man. Eddie, touch on this for me real quick because I'm doing something real quick.
So I'm not comfortable with the shoulder roll. Trying to move the shoulder roll. Honestly, it depends on where your basics are. You know what I'm saying? I think stick with that first. You know what I mean? I understand the shoulder roll is something you want to learn, and obviously if you have the videos and you've been working on it now, you kind of comfortable a little bit with the hand down technique. Then yeah, maybe you drill it. You know what I mean? You can drill it. And that thing came in my ear. You can drill it a little bit, but I'm always the person going to say start with the basic, the extreme basics. Until you master those, I wouldn't do none of these other. I don't want to say fancy moves because I mean this is just a different style to utilize, but I would still stick with the basics first. You know what I mean? And the fact that you're not comfortable with that particular move illustrates more that you should stick to the the basic part first until that is completely in your game. And then you can start to, put yourself in position to start doing the shoulder roll, get deeper into the half a man, drop the left hand and start working on, bending at the waist and things like that too. But at this point, stick with the basics first. Try not to learn shoulder rolling and all that. You said it yourself. You're not comfortable with it yet anyway. And a lot of times you see a lot of these guys out here. I don't want to name any names, but there's professional fighters out here that try to go into fights and do the shoulder roll with their head clear up in the air and get caught with right hands constantly. And it's just you shouldn't do something that you're not comfortable with in practice. And what I mean by that is if you're in sparring and you can't do it comfortably, then you shouldn't do it in a fight situation either.
Yeah. Hold on. I have all of Coach Ann's courses. I feel all amazing. I feel I want to teach my son in one shot. Yeah, slow down. Definitely don't teach in one shot. Guys, I'm going to look into what this issue is online with the website. I think there is some issues. I see some people are complaining, and I'm going to have to go through some technical stuff. If you're watching this late, I'm sorry, I just lost a train of thought. If you're watching this late, hopefully it's working by now. If you're watching this live, I'm gonna go back and just make sure that everything's fixed, whatever the issue is. There's obviously an issue. I might have prematurely said that everything was ready and it's not, but the sale will still be here. So if you guys keep checking the site, just continue to check the site, it will work. Also, here's my number, 215-709-5437. Text me right now. Say, hey, Coach Ann, got your number from the live. I'll respond. If you're interested in getting the Master Boxing Bundle, I'll update you when everything on the site's working. I probably will come back on here and talk to you guys in a few minutes, man. But I got to get this squared away before I can continue. Eddie, I've had you on here for 2 hours, man. I can see it in your eyes. You're tired as hell.
Worked out hard today, bro.
Yeah, you worked out hard. Tomorrow's another day.
Yes, sir.
It will work. Does that mean, did you try it again, champ? Just picked up the shadow boxing course. What a steal. Thanks, guys. Yeah, man. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you, man.
I like that. I like his thumbnail. Al Bundy, that's my dude back in the day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so guys, man, let me go ahead and look into this issue. Hit the bell notifications. Take my number. I probably honestly will come back on here just to inform people what's going on. I don't want to just make you guys wait while we're here, man. You know what I mean? Unless you want to just entertain the people, Eddie. You want to shadow box or something? You want to
right now?
Do some
you want to see my shadow boxing? I don't think y'all want to see that shit at this point. I ain't as sharp as I need to be at this time of night.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I'll probably be fighting around this time, so I'm lying. My bad.
Right. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys shortly.
Everybody wants to know how to box a southpaw. Everybody who's a southpaw wants to learn how to box the opposite stance. We're going to get into it. We're going to give away all the secrets. We're going to teach you so many great things, man. And luckily, we got a guy right here who can box both stands, orthodox and southpaw, and fast in the chambers. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna learn a lot. You guys made a very wise decision. So let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it.
Yo, Eddie, I'm gonna fuck. I forgot about that course.
I was just watching that the opposite stance, John.
How to box the opposite stance. Oh man,
that's a good one though.
Was,
it was actually fun to do.
You know, obviously, Mike actually, one of our clients in real life, actually, that was one of the main courses. They made him buy all the courses, and then he started.
Oh shit, he did.
I was in the area, and that's when he started hiring me to train him in real life. But and then obviously you started helping him as well. But yeah, that was the course.
That's dope.
That's the course that really got him going because he's a lefty.
Right. And he saw that, he was like, oh hell, these dudes actually legit.
yeah.
That's cool though.
Yep. So all right, man. Let me get up out of here. I'll probably, like I said, I'll be back on here just to update you guys, man. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, man. Talk to you guys soon.